Hi everyone, you are welcome to another episode of Study and Learn with David. I am Sunday David Daramola and I'm still your host. On today's episode of Study and Learn with David, I will be studying and learning from the stories of a man that was born blind. And we'll be taking our text from the book of John chapter 9. So we'll be reading from verse 1 to verse 32. So anyway, I'm going to paraphrase. So as Jesus Christ passed by, he saw a man that was blind from birth. And verse 2, the disciples were curious and they began to ask Jesus Christ questions. Rabbi, Master, why was it like this? Was it the man that committed a sin? Or they began to ask Jesus questions. Rabbi, Master, was it the parent of this man that committed a sin? Or why was he born blind? They were shocked, they were surprised at what would have happened, that somebody was born blind. Well, probably they've never heard of such case before. So Jesus Christ answered and said, neither the parents of this man sinned, but that the works of God be displayed in him. So Jesus Christ told them that neither the man, nor the parents, nor his family members committed any sin. And it was not even the hand of any witches or wizard or anybody. It was just for the works of God to be displayed in him. So verse 6, Jesus Christ passed on the ground and made clay with his saliva and anointed the eyes of the man with that clay and instructed that man to go to the pool of Siloam and wash himself. The man eventually went to the pool of Siloam, washed himself, and received his sight. So there are so many lessons to be learned from the story of this man. I know there are many people that are going through a lot of situations now that they can't even explain, that even people are even asking God on their behalf that why will this man be in this situation? Why will this man be in such condition that they didn't even understand? On behalf of that man, that the person experiencing that problem also is also asking God that, God, why? Is there anything that I've done? Is there any sin that I've committed? So I'm here to tell you today that you have never committed any sin. You have never done anything wrong to God. But I'm here to tell you, just as Jesus Christ told the disciples, that the reason why God allowed that man to be born blind was for the works of God to be displayed in him. So there are so many lessons, as I've said earlier, to be learned from the story of this man. Number one, not all suffering is a result of a sin. Hear me again. Not all challenge, not all problem, not all suffering is a result of a sin. So I know many people will be asking themselves, even those who are believers, God, what have I done wrong? Have I committed any sin? So I'm here to tell you that not all suffering is a result of any sin. So there are hardship, there are sufferings that God allows so that the power of God and His glory will be revealed in the life of that person. According to that John chapter 9 verse 3. So there are situations that God allows, there are circumstances that God allows so that His power and His glory will be revealed in the life of that man. So number two now, obedience leads to transformation. Obedience leads to transformation. In verse 6, when you read from verse 6, God spat on the ground and made clay from his saliva and anointed the eyes of the man and instructed the man to go to the pool of Siloam and washed himself. So by the fact that the man was not guaranteed, he was not guaranteed the result that he was going to get, he still went ahead and washed himself. He obeyed Jesus Christ. He obeyed the voice of the Lord and went to the pool of Siloam and washed himself. So it doesn't matter if God's instruction seems to be difficult or unclear to you. Once you obey the instruction of God, you will receive your breakthrough and you will receive your transformation. So obedience leads to transformation. Hadn't been the man, Pardon me, the man said, why do I need to go and wash myself in the pool of Siloam? But he said, you are a miracle working God. You have anointed my eyes. So why do I need to go and wash myself again? But the man deemed it fit to go to the pool of Siloam and wash himself. So when you obey God's instruction, even when it seems to be difficult or unclear, you will receive breakthroughs that are unexplainable. Number 3, when we experience God's power, our faith grows. When we experience God's power, our faith grows. So when you get to verse 8 to verse 10, the man met his neighbors who probably knew him as a blind man. And when they saw him, they were like, is it not the man that was blind, that was begging, that normally sit there and beg for something? Some of his neighbors said, it's like him. And the man answered, I am the one. And they asked him, how do you receive your healing? How were you able to receive your healing? He said, a man called Jesus spat on the ground, make clay from his saliva, and anointed my eyes, and instructed me to go to the pool of Siloam and wash myself. I went to the pool of Siloam, I washed myself, and that was where my healing came from. So when he was narrating the story for his neighbor, he called Jesus Christ a man. From that verse 8 to verse 11. But when you get John chapter 9 verse 17, when he was brought before the Pharisees and they asked him, how were you able to receive your sight? He said, a prophet spat on the ground, brought out clay from his saliva, anointed my eyes, and instructed me to go to the pool of Siloam and wash myself. So his faith grew from seeing Jesus Christ as a man to Jesus Christ as a prophet. So when we experience God, our faith deepens and our view of who Jesus Christ is becomes clearer. When God is maybe probably as a believer, or maybe you are not a believer, maybe probably you have known Jesus Christ as a great provider because he provides for you at all times. So when you are sick, it is possible that you don't even know God, you don't even know Jesus Christ as a healer. So the moment you receive your healing and you know that this is indeed God that did this one, you will not only know God as only a provider, you will also know him as a healer. You will also know him as a healer. And maybe probably you have known Jesus Christ as a healer, you have known him as a provider. Maybe you find yourself among the enemies, and God protected you and saved you from that, maybe probably that accident or from that sin. Your view of who Jesus Christ is will become clearer. You will not only know him as a healer or as a provider, you will also know him as a protector. So when we experience God, our faith deepens and we have our view of who Jesus Christ is becomes clearer. Number 4, when God decides to prove himself in our life, when God decides to prove himself in the lives of any man, we experience a paradigm shift. You know, the neighbors, those that knows that man very well, they knew him as a man that normally sits on his spot and beg for us. See that transformation. When that transformation came, there was a paradigm shift. Who he was known for before, he was not known for that person again. There was a paradigm shift. So he was no longer begging. Those things that he did not do before, he began to do those things. And probably they were taking him to the bedroom before his parents, or it was the parents or the siblings that normally paid for him, that normally wear clothes for him, that normally prepare food for him. But the moment that transformation came, there was a paradigm shift. He moved from a level of someone that normally sits on a spot and beg for hand, from someone that cannot move from one location to another. So that's number 4. So number 5, when God decides to prove himself in your life, he will do it in such a way that everybody will know that this is God at work. When you get to John chapter 9 verse 32, the Pharisees told the man, after questioning him several times, "Are you sure that it was this man that did this thing?" The man said, "It was him. All what I know is whether he's a prophet, whether he's a man, all what I know is that once I was blind and now I can see." And when you get to verse 32, the Pharisees, they concluded, they agreed, and they said, "These things, since the world began, we have never seen anyone that was born blind and receive his sight." So when God decides to prove himself in your life, he will do it in such a way that everybody will know that this is God at work. That this is God at work. That everybody will give all the glory to him, that this is God at work. That nobody, they won't even say, was it the doctor that performed a surgery that did? No. They said, since the world began, we have never heard or seen any man that was born blind and later received his sight. So when God decides to prove his almightiness in your life, he will do it in such a way that everybody will know that this is God at work. I don't know what you are going through. I don't know the situation you have found yourself. That you have challenged God several times. You have asked your parents, you have asked your colleague. Maybe probably your marriage is in trouble. Maybe probably your business is in trouble. Maybe probably your career is in trouble. Your ministry is in trouble. And you have asked yourself, you have asked God several times, what have I done wrong? I'm here to tell you, just like Jesus Christ told the disciples, that you have not done anything wrong. That God is planning to transform you to a new level. God is planning to do something in your life that people will return all the glory back to him. I want you to watch this. I want you to watch this video to the end. Share this, like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Share this video with your friends, with your relatives, or with people that you know that they are going through a lot. And even peradventure, if you are not even going through anything, watch this video so that you can pick all these lessons one after the other, so that anytime that anything is happening to you, you will know that you have not committed any sin, that is just for God, for the name of the Lord, and for his work to be displayed in your life. Thank you for watching. God bless you.